Output line of sight to features is a binary analysis of ZVI. It will tell us whether or not a feature or features are visible from a grid of receptors. It can be used for housing developments, industrial developments, photovoltaic cell installations and the like. And I'm going to demonstrate to you using this SX88 dataset that we've been using throughout all of the ZVI ZTV tutorials. And I'm going to propose that we insert 3 lines of photovoltaic cells in this area here. And if you were to go into the test data objects folder, you will find a survey called photovoltaic. And if we look at that in 3D view, you will see that we have a cell and a frame around it. And these are defined by surface features. And that becomes important when we come to do the analysis. I'm now going to select Input, Merge, Survey at New Location, select the photovoltaic model, two points, rotate but no resize, multiple, add mean level of located points, and observations starting at point number 1. If you want to understand all of the options here, go into the relevant tutorial on Input, Merge, Survey at New Position. I'm now going to place, very roughly, 1 line here, second line, and the third line. Of course you can use various modes to insert these, grids, coordinates, etc. So escape, and just escape back. Before I go any further, I'm going to do a save as. I now want to know whether the cells are visible from this area to the south. So I select Output, ZVI ZTV, Line of Sight to Features, type in the new survey name, I locate the 2 surface features I'm interested in, which is Volt and Base. I'm going to create a new grid of receptors at a 50-meter interval. If you've been doing lots of these ZVI ZTV analyses, you might find that the eye height value gets copied from another command. Make sure that you're aware of what this means, and this is the eye height of someone walking along the terrain surface and wanting to know whether we can see these photovoltaic arrays. So just check that you've got the right value in that field. It may have come in as maybe 40 if you've done a 40-meter wind turbine analysis, so it's important to check that you've got the right value there. We can set the angular interval. Now the finer we are, the better chance we have of hitting one of these, because bear in mind it'll go to each of the receptor locations and draw a line of sight ray. So if you're a long way away from a very small object, then you need to make sure that your angular interval is very, very small. Select the maximum sight distance and whether you want to adjust for earth curvature and refraction. We will get 2 measures. One will be a point feature where it's visible, which will be coded PVIS. Where it's invisible, it will be coded PINV. The visible ones will be yellow and the invisible ones will be blue, and they are inside the LSS test data standard prototype. Not only will the analysis produce a point feature for the visible and invisible points, but it will also allocate a DTM level to them, and the default is +1 for visible features and -1 for invisible features. We're now going to define the grid of receptors. Now I'm going to place this grid across this area because we've got a heighted woodland here, so it's going to be important to show you the effect that heighted surface and link features have upon visual impact analysis. I'm going to select that survey as my base so I get the maps, and it's loading in the analysis, and if we zoom in on the result you will see the yellow dots represent the visible, and if you look in the lower right you'll see the Z value of +1, and in the invisible areas we've got -1, so there's a shadow being cast by that woodland. An alternative display for this, as I explained before, is to use height bands. If we set the base level as 1 with an interval of 1, we can say everything that's less than 1 is going to be invisible, and then everything else can be red. So you can turn off the point features if you want and just show the colours. When you export this as a DXF file you can pop that into a CAD drawing and overlay it on your map and maybe make that surface coded area semi-transparent.